Alrighty. Text 39. Eaten me samasang Krishna chetam ahashra atusta tavid anya samsa asya sa chetanan hai apate. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for yourself, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Krishna is the perfect knower of past, present, and future. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said that all living entities exist individually in the past, that they exist now in the present, and that they continue to retain individual identity in the future, even after liberation from the material entanglement. So he has already cleared up the question of the future of the individual living entity. Now, Arunja wants to know of the future of the unsuccessful transcendentalist. No one is equal to or above Krishna, and certainly the so called great sages and philosophers who are at the mercy of the material nature cannot equal him. Therefore, the verdict of Krishna is the final and complete answer to all doubts, because he knows past, present, and future perfectly, but no one knows him. Krishna and Krishna consciousness devotees allow alone can know what is what. Text 40. Shir Shri Bhagavan Yuvaka Pata Niva Manutra Binasha Tasha Vidyate Na Hai Kalayana Krit Kasid Dugartim Tata Gachati. The Blessed Lord said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Navata Muni instructs Vyasdeva as follows. Taivakta Swadharman Karnam Bujam Hara Bhajan Apako Tapate Tato Badi Vatra Kav Bahadram Abu Musa Kim Kovata Apto Bhagavagam Shavtramata. If someone gives up material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or gradation in any way. On the other hand, a non devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both scriptural and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. One may argue that Krishna consciousness one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does attain such perfectionist stage, then he loses both material and spirituality. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reaction of not executing prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendental activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalists that there need be no worries. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction of not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he is still not a loser. Because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten, and one so engaged will continue to be so even if he is the lowborn of the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. The purport may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely the regulated and unregulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratifications without knowledge of their next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non-regulated section. And those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified amongst the regulated section. The non-regulated section, both civilized and non-civilized, educated and non-educated, strong and weak, are full of animal prosperities. These activities are never auspicious because enjoying the animal prosperities of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, they perpetually remain in the material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who regulated by spiritual injunctions and thus gradually rise to Krishna consciousness certainly progress in life. Those who are then following the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections, namely, 1, the followers of scriptural rules and regulations who are enjoying material prosperity, 2, those who are trying to find out the ultimate liberation from material existence, and 3, those who are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Those who are following the rules and regulations of the scriptures for material happiness may be further divided into two classes: those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit for sense gratification. Those who are after fruitive results for sense gratification may be elevated to a higher standard of life, even to the higher planets, but still, because they are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. Only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberation. Any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from the material body concept of life is not all auspicious. Activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity. And one who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. And because the eightfold yoga system is directed towards the ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness, such practice is also auspicious, and no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Text 41. Prapaya punya kratam lokan yusitva satvati sama sukanan Srimatan Gihi Yoga Brarasto Bayajayate. The unsuccessful yoga, after many years of enjoyment of the planets on the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into the family of rich aristocracy. The unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, he is sent back again to this planet to take birth into the family of righteous Varnanam Vaishnava or of aristocratic merchants. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness. But those who do not preserve to such an extent and fail due to the material allurements are allowed, by the grace of the Lord, to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in the righteousness or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. Text 42. Aha va yoginam eva kul bhavati dimmatam iad di dulabhab hat ra aram lok yama yad ishraj sham. Or he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. Birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised therein because the child born in such a family receives spiritual impetus from the beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Avaya or Gashvani families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Akarva families, and they have no degenerated due to the insignificant education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalist generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both our spiritual master Vijnapada Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Gashvani Maharaja and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord, and both of us were trained in devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. Keep going. Good. Text 43. Tara tam buddhi sam yogam lahate para dihikam batate ko tatu buya sam si thou kuru nam danya. On taking such a birth, he again revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he tries to further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. King Bhavarata, who took his third birth in the family of the good Brahmana, is an example of good birth for revival of precious transcendental consciousness. King Bharata was the emperor of the world, and since his time, this planet is known among the demigods of Bharatavarsha. Formerly, it is known as the Ilvaratavarsha, the emperor at the early age. Retired for spiritual perfection, but failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of good Brahmana and is known as the Jadabaharata, because he always remains secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on, he was discovered as the great transcendentalist by the king Rahugana. From his life, it is understood that the transcendental endeavors of the practice of yoga never go in vain, but the grace of the Lord, by the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. Text 44. Bhura by asanya teniva hire he bazo pisha jinasha api yogasa sabda barnati ratati. By the virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yoga principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist striving for yoga stands above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Advanced yogas are not very attracted to the rituals of the scriptures, but they automatically become attracted to the yoga principles, which can elevate them to complete Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga perfection. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, such disregard of Vedic rituals by the advanced transcendentalists is explained as follows. Aho bata sa paku tu garian yagi havagre batate nama tubyan tepis tapa te guyuva sanyu avra ba manyukar nama granti yete. O my Lord, persons who chant the holy names of the Lord of your lordship are far advanced in spiritual life, even if born in the family of dog eaters. Such chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of austerities and sacrifices, bathed in all sacred places, and finishes of all scriptural studies. The famous example of this was presented in the Lord Caitanya, who accepted Tara Hardiyasa as one of his most important disciplines. Although Thakra Haridasha happened to take his birth in the Muslim family, he is elevated to the post Namrakaya by the Lord Katina due to his ritually attended principle of chanting 300,000 holy names of the Lord daily. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because he chanted the holy name of the Lord constantly, it is understood that in his previous life, he must have passed through all the ritual methods of Vedas known as Sabda Brahma. Unless, therefore, one is purified, one cannot take the principal Krishna consciousness nor become engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord Hare Krishna. It's 7:54. Should I keep going or?
We can pause here.
Stop here? Okay.
Unless you guys want to keep going and don't have anything.
Whatever you guys like.
What?
Whatever you guys like. I'm good either way.
I think stopping here wouldn't be bad. Then for sure we would, end on a timely basis.
Okay.
Yeah. Yesterday we went over a little. Amanda, yesterday was some intense slokas. Like, if you don't do it, you can stop screen share, Domenica. If you don't do it this way, then it's this way or no way.
Which way would that be?
This Gita way. Like, if you don't believe in me, then you're a bad person.
Hey.
Well, it didn't quite, my interpretation was a little different, but it was, it's my way or the highway in terms of being saved. So you could lead a good life and do all sorts of good things and live with the principle of I'm going to do right by other people in your head. But if you're not doing it within Krishna consciousness, all that meant was you lived a good life and you were going to go around again and again and again.
But also they were saying that basically in this Kali age, that it was basically impossible to do it this way and you are never going to succeed type of thing. But I guess keep trying. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it said that it was much more difficult to live in isolation and in quiet and focusing on Krishna solely and so on and so forth than it was thousands of years ago. So good luck, guys.
Yeah.
But today was kind of I have to say I was drawn to the part that said if you're really there and if you're really trying, you don't necessarily pay attention. You have to live by the strictures of the scriptures. You could just, there was, I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right. You didn't have to live by them in order to head in the right direction.
I think Domenica, just before I forget, do you remember, can you tell me what number we have to start on tomorrow? I forgot to write it down when you close the screen. I heard 2 in this today.
I think we're starting on 45.
45.
Domenica? Does that make sense?
45, yep.
Yeah.
The system of writing it down seems to be working. I don't know why it took us a whole year to figure that out, but whatever. The idea of which family you're born into, it seems to have a big effect too, like your past karmas, where you're gonna fall in this Krishna conscious, maybe in this life too. Depending which family you are born into. This is what I'm finding though with this whole idea of, let's just call it religion, because this is what I'm experiencing with religion, is this Krishna conscious. So as close to religion as I've ever felt is what I'll say. So if I believe in, if I can surrender to this Krishna conscious, this universe unicorn, which I'm finding not as difficult, I feel like, I think I've discussed this too, I just become more judgmental toward other people. And I don't know if I'm doing this because I'm already a judgmental person, or if it's more like I'm trying. And so I guess what I'm saying is I kind of see what they're saying in the book, but it's like I'm being judgmental of them because they're doing wrong things and I want them to do it my way, because my way is the right way, because you're not supposed to do wrong things, but also that's judgmental. I should just leave people alone and just focus on myself. But I find like the more I keep doing the right things, the more I see the bad things. So I guess the lesson is I just need to focus on myself. But I guess that's where I see why they're saying you have to do it this way. This is the right way. So I find myself doing it. I was laughing to myself last night. I caught myself saying, you have to do it my way. And I'm like, I'm exactly like what they're doing. Aw, hi, little kitty cat.
Yeah, she's misbehaving. No, I understand. I see what you're getting at. It's hard not to be judgmental. But yeah, keep going back to that compassion, right? Like having compassion for those people
Yeah.
because they're in pain too, right?
Yeah. I guess that's why I keep forgetting is the compassion part. Unless it's February and Heart Month, I forget about compassion.
There was something interesting in, I think it was the first passage about that I read about how when you start, like you give up something material and something else in order to become more conscious. Let me go back and find out what I'm talking about. I think it was in 39 or 40.
Was it in 40 when he says one may argue that by Krishna consciousness one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed, but if one does not attain such a perfectional stage, then he loses both materially and spiritually?
Maybe.
It's like halfway through the first paragraph, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When you read number 41 and they talked about the planets, I immediately went back to those Marvel superhero movies. I feel like I have to rewatch all of these movies now with a completely new look because I feel like that's exactly what they're describing.
Yes. That was fascinating to me. I still don't know if I believe in this. I wish I did. Not that I wish I did, but I still don't know if I believe in reincarnation. It's a big hurdle for me to get over.
Yeah, I'm just neutral on it. I mean, I'm not like waving a flag that I believe in it, but I don't not believe in it only because what if it is true? Like, I might as well have something to work toward. Like, I want to be born into a better family, or like, I want to keep elevating instead of going backwards.
Right.
Like, there's no proof. There can't be. I mean, I guess people will say there is proof, but like, it's not like, I don't know. To me, it's like believing in like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. It's just like fun, you know?
Yeah. I want to believe in it. I do. I want to believe in it. I'm not sure I do at this point.
So, do you have anything?
No, well, I was just thinking about that whole idea of repeated rebirth. And from what I've read about going through the bardo, it's not necessarily a pleasant experience. But I don't know. I really don't have anything, although there was something about today's reading that was less black and white than yesterday's reading. And so
Yes.
made me feel more comfortable. Also, maybe I'm more comfortable and muted because it's gray today. Who knows?
Yeah.
I am affected by the weather.
Yeah. And it's only getting worse over the next few days. It's not like, oh, it'll be sunny tomorrow.
Yeah. It's okay to be a little muted. Maybe it makes you more open to other things.
Yeah, true. All right, so let's do breath and meditate. Sitting up nice and tall, finding that straight, strong spine. Taking a few breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Then bring your right hand over to your face. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left. Close left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Inhale left. left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. 2 more rounds like that on your own breath, adding locks and retention if it's in your practice. When you're done, you'll exhale out through the left side. I'm gonna set the timer. bringing your hands to your heart. Namaste.